Okay, so what we got here is a Hyundai 30L, I think, 30L-7M. It has a GM 3-liter engine with the GCP system with the DEPR right there. Okay, so it's not running as good. When it starts up right away, all right, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's running a bit rough at idle. It has power, but it kind of has a delay. So no bogging down on the engine. So even on a snap, there's a bit of the delay, but I don't hear it bogging down. But what we do notice is that we have a check engine light that's on. All right. Okay, so we can do this two ways to check what the code is, the DTC that's turned on the check engine light. We can either jump two connectors, two wires in there for a blinky code on the dash, or we can either use the software. But because I have the software for this, we're going to do the easy way, connect the software, and then look at what codes are present. So we're going to do that next. Okay, so we got our ECOM cable connected to our ECM, and you can see that the laptop is already live connected, and we have 3 DTCs in history. So meg ejector delivery pressure higher than normal, meg ejector communication lost, and a 1626 CAN transmission fault. Okay, so right now let's run the truck and see. Okay. You can see how it's a bit shaky because it's running a bit rough. Okay. The DTC 1173 just became active. So let's look at our diagnostic page. Okay, we're still in open loop. Adaptive. So close-up 0 because we're in open loop. Adaptive is 0. Now I would not doubt the oxygen sensor reporting bad because I can smell it from the exhaust. Like this is really running rich. Okay, so now we see our closed loop. So I guess if we went into closed loop right now, yeah, closed loop active. And there you go. So now we got a DTC 1152. Closed loop LPG low. So that is the reaction from the computer because it sees that the oxygen sensor is reporting that it's rich, right? So the computer, the ECM reacted by trying to decrease the amount of fuel that it went to its maximum on the negative side, minus 35. So that initiated a DTC, which is 1152. Okay, so we're going to try to figure this out because we have multiple codes. Go back to that screen. So right now active codes would be 1173 and 1152. But they're tied into each other, right? So let me kill this for a sec. Turn this off. It's really getting bad with the smell. What it's talking about as a meg ejector is actually the DEPR, which is that guy over there. All right, so basically it's a pressure regulator slash injector. So from the regulator here, it provides fuel to the meg ejector or the DEPR that it constantly supplies to the mixer. Okay, so that is communicating through CAN bus. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna attack the communication problem first, because if that doesn't work, then it cannot control the amount of fuel going into the mixer, right? So we're gonna have to attack the communication code first, and if we still have the 1152, we're gonna attack it after, right? Okay, so here I printed DTC 1173. So 1173, yeah, communication loss. All right, so it says condition for setting the code. It says EPR CAN communication. Okay, condition engine running or cranking. Mill on. Yes. Fault condition, no packet received within 500 milliseconds. All right. Then circuit description, the EPR, right, the electronic pressure regulator, which is the mega ejector unit, measures and control the amount of fuel that is able to pass to the fuel mixer. This code will set in the event communication with the ECM is lost. The mill command is on, and the reason why we're attacking this first and not the 1152, which is the closed loop LPG low, is because it says right here that the unit measures and controls the amount of fuel that is able to pass to the mixer. So if this is not able to communicate with the ECM sends a command to the DPR to increase or decrease the amount of fuel going to the mixer. And if the ECM cannot command this, the EPR, then you could either run rich, run lean. There's no point of control, right? So that's why we're attacking this communication code first. All right, so whenever I get communication codes, be it on an electric truck or a propane truck, I always want to check powers and grounds first. So on this diagram, we have pin number 3, which is positive, coming from a 5 amp fuse. And then we got, of course, the ground coming from the ECM. And we got pin number 6 on it, which is a 20 amp fuse, B+. All right. And we're going to check this first. And if not, we're going to have to check the termination resistor last. And then maybe wiring for the comm lines itself. For checking powers and grounds, I'm just going to be using a regular multimeter. We're going to use the oscilloscope if we ever get to the point that we need to check the communication signals. But for now, because this is always constant anyway, so we're just going to be using a multimeter. So right now, I already hooked up the black lead to the negative. Check first. Okay, so 12.8 reading on the multimeter, so we're good there. So first thing we're going to check is pin number 6, which is also B+. So pin 6 is going to be right here. Okay, so that's good. We got power there, right? And then these are the 2 communication lines. That's the resistor, pin number 1. Oops. Negative is right here. But we do have another positive, should be just this guy, pin number 3. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Okay, I got 0 there. Okay, let's see. Key on. Nothing. All right. So the other one is always live. I'll try to crank this and see if I get power when I'm cranking it. Ooh. Okay. Okay, let me kill this for a second. It went up just a bit, but point something. Okay. So I guess we got a definite direction now. All right. So looking at the diagram. So in the diagram, so I was checking pin number 3 last, right? So it comes from a DEPR 5 amp fuse. So it might be wiring, but we're gonna check the fuse first. All right, and then we're gonna find it first and then check the fuse. Okay, easy enough for us. fuse box is just right here. So we're looking at it. So that's the DEPR fuse, the 5 amp that we saw in the diagram. So it's going to be this one, right? In between, there's an empty slot, right? So we're going to be checking this one. All right, so multimeter still hooked up to my battery negative. Multimeter's on. Okay, check this one first. 0. The other one, 0. Okay, key on. Okay, that's 12. How about on the other side? So key on again. 12 volts. And this one, it didn't jump up. Okay, all right. So let's pull that up. Use. Let's see. Oh, this pop. It is pop right there. So let's unplug this. Okay. And then what we can do is I'm gonna switch up my leads, right? I'm gonna connect this now to the battery positive. And then I'm gonna use my other lead, the black probe. So I'm gonna switch it up. Okay, we're gonna connect this to battery positive. Okay. Then this on the meter. You can see that. That should be better. Okay. So I got my positive there on the battery. Checking for negative. So I got a good connection to the positive. Testing on the block. Okay, that's it. So I disconnected from the DEPR. So what I want to do is check on the terminal here. Okay. I see that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm touching that wiring. See, it would go away. See, when I get the 12 volts, mean to say I get a good connection to the negative or the block, right? But touching the wiring, you see it becomes OL. So somewhere along this wiring harness, right, that wire coming from this fuse is touching a negative or ground or the block. That's what blew the fuse. So we're gonna troubleshoot that first, and then go from there. Replace the fuse. Okay, so we were wiggling the wire earlier, and we were seeing a connection somewhat, and all of a sudden it disappeared when I started going here, right? So I don't want to bore you with me trying to figure out or cutting out this harness where the short is at. I'm pretty sure that part of that wiring harness is touching the frame, but for now, I mean, it's not touching it. I'm still gonna have to find it because of course it's still gonna come back. But for now, to prove the point that that is the problem of our truck right here and why it's running rich, since we don't have a connection to the negative anymore, I'm gonna put in a fuse. All right, so that's a new 5 amp mini fuse. I'm gonna put it in there. All right, so I'm gonna connect this EPR again. All right. And then I'm gonna connect the software again. I'm gonna let you see the reaction. So I'm gonna check if that fuse pops again. I'm pretty sure for now it's not gonna pop, but of course, like so I said, we're gonna have to find that short to the frame still. But we're gonna test it out, see if it took out the problem that we're having. Okay, so we are connected again with the software. So I haven't erased the DTCs yet. So let us start this again. Cranking. Okay. So right now the mill light is off. That's a good indication that we took care of the code. See right here, still an open loop. Okay. The oxygen sensor, of course, is going to read rich for now until we go into closed loop. A good indication though is that we don't have an active fault anymore. And it is running much smoother than it was before. As you can see, it doesn't shake as much anymore. Okay, go back to the other screen. Closed loop already, and you can see that our oxygen sensor is already switching. That coolant temp. Okay, so I know that we still have to find the short in the harness, the short to the ground or the negative, but this proves that the reason why we're running so rich is because that mega ejector or DEPR was not able to communicate properly because it was losing a positive. It was not able to communicate with the ECM, so it's not able to control the amount of fuel. Okay, so for now, I know we still have to find the wiring, but I would consider this one a fix.